Morning. How y'all doing? I have to say y'all, I feel like I have to. I'm from Alabama. I should throw that out there. The only thing Southern about me is Korean, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm so excited to be here today in California. I was born in Monterey. Born and raised up, that's right. And so you could tell I didn't live there very long. My dad was in the military, met my mom in Korea, and so I've lived all over. And then God thought it would be really funny if he took an Asian guy and moved him to Alabama. Hey, listen, the only Asian people where I'm from work in Panda Express. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of me where I'm at. And then pastoring a church is a whole nother deal. And so it's so exciting to be here this morning. Listen, church, you are so blessed to have an amazing pastor here in Brian. Yeah. He has been in my life for a long time, and not just as a friend, but really as a mentor and a coach. And a lot of what I know of in ministry today, it comes directly from your pastor. So I want you to know, church, I've been tracking with y'all since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, I was here 10 years ago back at the old building in Yorba Linda, and it's amazing to see God's hand in this place. And so if you're a first-time guest today or you're just coming back, this is an amazing church to get plugged into. If you're watching online, like, this is an amazing church. You have to come in person. I highly encourage you to show up. It's going to be incredible. And so today, it's an honor, my honor to be here today. I'm so humbled to be able to speak. I wish I could have my family here, but since I cannot, I brought some pictures. They're always a good thing. So this year, my wife and I will be celebrating 11 years of marriage. That's right. She is from Alabama, and she had 3 G's I was looking for in a woman. So if you're here and you're like, hey, you're single, fellas, there's 3 G's that I look for personally. She had to be godly. She had that knocked out. She had to be good looking. She had that knocked out, right? And the third thing was so important. She had to be able to make gravy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can't have biscuits without gravy, and so you can't have none of that. So she's got all 3 G's. I'm excited. And I have 3 kids. Zay is 9 years old. True is 6 years old, and that's my daughter, Magnolia. She's 2 years old. She has my heart. I told my wife, I said, please, please let us have just one more. I promise this time I'll make it a girl. And it worked, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I got the powers, all right? Got the powers. So I'm in Gadsden, Alabama, and this is crazy because we're in the belt buckle of the Bible Belt. And I live in a county, Etowah County. It's 100,000 people. It's really crazy to think about that in just Orange County, you have as many people as we do in the whole state of Alabama. And in my county of 100,000 people, we have one church for every 300 people. Here's what's sad. 7 out of 10 in my county don't go to church anywhere. 70,000 people. And that's my heart, and that's my passion, and that's what we do at Cornerstone, is we reach people who are far from God, a lot like this church does. We want people to find and follow Jesus. And so we're really a church for people who don't like church. We're the jumbo shrimp of churches, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. Like, if you don't like church, you'll like our church. And so that's what we've been doing. I'm passionate about seeing people who are far from God, who are like, they would never go to church, and they get connected, and they find that God does love them. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're watching online. Maybe you're here this morning, and you say, you know, I don't know if this God thing is for me. I came last Sunday. It was incredible. I had a friend. They invited me. My wife wanted me to show up today, or person I'm living with told me I should come check it out. And so you're here this morning, and I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're at spiritually. I don't know what God is doing in your life. Maybe you say, like, God is some fictional being. If he truly was there, then why did all these things happen to me in my life? And you might be going through a lot of stuff. I'm not sure where you're at, but I want to tell you that today there is a God who is real, who loves you, and will stop at nothing to pursue a relationship with you. As a matter of fact, there's a reckless pursuit of God. Now, here's what's weird. When you think about the word reckless, you don't typically think of God, but we got a little definition for you here of the word reckless. It's without thinking or caring about the consequences of an action. Sounds like a teenager to me, right? Like, they're a little reckless regards to the things that they do in life. You don't think about your actions or the choices or the decisions that you make. And if we're honest, a lot of us are where we're at in life today because of some reckless decisions we've made growing up. High school, in college, as a young adult, things that you did in your 20s that you're now in your 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe regretting. I can't believe that I did this, and it's kind of ruined my life for a little bit. And maybe you've gone through some stuff, and you go, wow, like if I just think back, yeah, maybe I was a little reckless. As a matter of fact, we could say being reckless will cause your life to be wrecked. And maybe you've wrecked a marriage before. Maybe you're here and you're maybe on your second marriage, your third marriage. Maybe you're, just splitting through time. You're not going to get married anymore. Maybe you've wrecked your career. Maybe you wrecked your relationship with your children. Maybe you wrecked your finances and you're just up to your ears in debt. Maybe you've wrecked your health because of decisions that you've made that you had no idea they were going to affect you the way that they have affected you today. And really, you are the sum of all the choices that you have made in your life. You're watching online, you're just going, yeah, if I think back and if I'm honest, I've made some reckless decisions in my life that has ruined me. When you're reckless, you're fixated on just one thing, and you've got to get that one thing, whatever it is. When I was in Mobile, I started off as a youth pastor, and our church had a softball team. And they were really good because we had a lot of college baseball players and a lot of athletic guys. And of course, I made the team, not because I'm athletic, but because I was a youth pastor and they felt bad for me. And they stuck me out in right field. Now, for those of you that don't know anything about baseball, when they stick you out in right field, that means you suck, okay? I'm out in right field because if you can't touch the ball, you can't hurt the team. And so I played out there very faithfully. I was just good to serve in my position, y'all. And so there was a tournament coming up. My wife and I had only been married for a month, and I told her, I said, babe, sleep in. Don't even come to this tournament. Big Papa's going to go out there. We're going to go win this trophy today. Come home. We'll celebrate. It's going to be a fun time. This tournament was in Chunchula, Alabama. It's every bit as redneck as you can imagine right now, all right? We get out to this field, and it was great. Like, our team was doing really good. But about lunchtime, we had about 4 guys on our team that had to go on to work. And so we didn't have any other extras on the team. And so our coach was like, we're going to have to get some people from our church just to play with us. And I knew this was my opportunity to step up big for coach. I was like, hey, coach, I'm ready for a promotion. And I got one, right field to right center, all right? And so we were playing, and I said, I just got to show them that I know what I'm doing. And sure enough, we play this team. There's a guy, 6'7" Haas. He's holding a tree for a bat. And I'm looking at him, and I think to myself, I'm getting this dude out. And so sure enough, he hits the ball. It's coach pitch. It's slow pitch, right? Like, he's going to hit the ball. But that ball starts flying my direction. And I'm running as fast as I can. I'm looking like an angel in the outfield. No, Anaheim, come on now. Throw that out there for my millennials. Where you at, right? Okay? Maybe I should have said I was looking like Ichiro. That might have made more sense. I'm fixated on this ball. I am tracking it down, running as fast as I can. I put my glove out. The ball is about to come in my glove. I'm feeling like it's going to be ESPN Top 10, and smack. Now, the people that were watching, they say, have you ever seen like a cartoon where like the character peels off of a wall? That's what happened to me. And I'm laying on the ground. They're like, Dan, are you okay? You're okay? And I'm like, get the ball. I was dedicated, y'all, right? Get the ball. No, we got the ball. Am I bleeding? Yeah. Is it bad? Oh, yeah. So they pick me up, and I'm walking just dejected back towards the dugout. And the umpire out of nowhere is like, get out of the way. I'm from Vietnam. I'm a war veteran. Like, I have no idea. What does that have to do with the situation, sir, right? Don't run at me. If you're from Vietnam, I'm a bleeding Asian guy. Please stop, right? Should I have said that one? Should I have said online? I don't know. I took it maybe a little too far. He looks at my face, and he's like, you gonna be all right, boy. You gonna be all right. So I'm sitting on the bench. I'm like, I don't feel all right. And he comes up, and he looks at me again. He says, you know what, boy? You're gonna need to go on to the doctor. You think you can drive? I'm like, sir, I got a concussion. Pretty sure I can't drive. And so they're taking me to the ER. They call my wife. She's freaking out. They meet us there. If you've ever gone to an ER, you know people are sick. You want to see the doctor, you want to go home. I walk in, and they're like, yo, let that dude go first, all right? 19 stitches, cracked nose, bruised face, crushed ego. Here's what I look like. Oh, snap. Anyway, this gets better because I try to smile. Here's my wife. There's her with me. 1 month in, could you imagine waking up to that? Dear God, oh my gosh, right? Crazy. Take that off. No one needs to see that anymore. Here's the point of the story. I don't try so hard anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't try so hard. I was fixated on the one thing. And you're here today and you've been fixated on the one thing. And here's what I want to tell you about that one thing. You might find that the very one thing that you're pursuing in life might be the very thing you end up regretting. If that one thing you're pursuing isn't God, I'm just telling you, you're going to wake up one day and go, why did I pursue that? You can pursue your career, and one day you'll wake up and find that it cost you your family. You might pursue relationship only to find that relationships leave you broken at the end. When you pursue the one thing, you might find that one thing that you want isn't what you want at all. And so in Luke chapter 15, Jesus is really amazing because he gives these parables. They're just made up stories. He just made stories up all the time. And I kind of like that about Jesus. He just makes stories up. And he tells 3 different stories. And I just want to share the first story with you this morning because I want you to know that there is a God who will recklessly pursue you, will stop at nothing, and is fixated on you this morning, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, no matter how jacked up you feel in life. He loves you and he desires to have a relationship with you. He cares about you more than any man, any woman ever could. He will stick closer than a brother. He never leaves you. He never forsakes you. And in your darkest moments in life, he's the only rock you can cling to. And I want to share this story with you this morning. I think it's going to be really powerful. It'll be on the screens for you if you don't have a Bible this morning. And Jesus says this, there was in verse 1, it says, there were tax collectors and other notorious sinners who came to listen to Jesus teach. Now, I love this about Jesus because he was always around people that he shouldn't have been around. He was around the Biggie Smalls of his day, right? They were notorious, B-I-G, right? They were notorious sinners, right? I'm in California, come on, y'all. Like, they were there, right? Notorious, you know this stuff. Come on, where are my millennials at, like the 90s? What's going on, right? Throwing stuff out there for you. I know I'm in California, got to throw it out there, like y'all leaving me hanging like that, right? I've listened to your radio stations. There are not enough Christian stations, y'all, okay? I'm just saying. I haven't even found a country station yet. I don't know what to do with my life. Everyone's like, no. Kidding. He's hanging out with notorious sinners. They came to listen to Jesus teach. It says, this made the Pharisees and teachers of religious law complain that he was associating with such sinful people, even eating with them. I mean, it made like religious people mad. Like, how could you hang out with those people? How could you spend time? Like, you're going to eat supper with that person, that guy, that girl? Maybe you feel like that's you. Like, yeah, I feel like God doesn't want anything to do with me. Like, if you knew about my life, you would know that he wants nothing to do with me. But those are the very people that Jesus spent the most time with, and religious people hated it. And so he goes on, Jesus, knowing that the people farthest from God need him most. In another place, he says, it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. Sick people need a doctor, and so he's with them. And so in verse 3, it says, Jesus told them this story. If a man had 100 sheep, one of them gets lost, what will he do? Won't he leave the 99 others in the wilderness and go to search for that one that is lost until he finds it? Now, I'm not so sure about this story a little bit, okay? I'm going to have to just insert a little bit ADD, a little bit like, I like to pick things through. There's 100 sheep. He loses one. He's going to leave 99 sheep to go after the one little sheep. Now, here's what I don't know about this, but he may not find this sheep. It's the wilderness. I don't know if you know this, but there wasn't GPS tracking on sheep back then. Like, if you're going to have a lost sheep and you go through with 100 sheep and you're counting 99, ooh, sucks to suck, right? Like, I mean, that's it. Like, 99% is pretty good percentages if you ask me. I'm an Asian guy. I like numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like, 99%, I would kill for that, right? Like, if we could have a president, 99% approval rating, right? I'm in California. I know this is a blue state, okay? I know. What's the line? I'm trying to gauge your line this morning, okay? 99%, that's really good. That's really good. Like, he has 99 out of 100. Like, sorry, I'll buy another sheep, or if you just wait long enough, they're going to have more sheep. You know what I mean? and he's gonna go out and find one. I have 3 kids, and if we go to the mall and we're searching through and it's crowded and it's crazy and I lose one of my sons, I'm not gonna go find them, right? I told you to hold my hand. You should have stuck with me. I have trained you for this. Can you find me, right? Can you find me? Like, I might leave him on purpose. Like, my 9-year-old's starting to talk back. Like, I'm letting you know, like, I love him. I can't wait till he graduates, though. Then people are like, empty nesters, like, no, you'll miss these days. You forget about these days, okay? 99%, like, is the guy a perfectionist? Like, do you have to have, like, 100? Like, do you have to go find the one sheep? Like, you may not even find this sheep. You have no idea about this sheep. Like, why does he want to get this sheep? We don't know anything about this sheep, right? He's got 99 problems. A lost sheep ain't one of them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's like, yeah, some of us, I know. Maybe he's like, listen, like, you don't know the guy that I work for. And if I don't find this sheep, I'd be in some deep sheep. You know what I'm talking about? And so he goes and he finds this lost sheep. We don't know about this sheep. It could be an emo sheep, right? Like, the sheep may have wandered off. Like, why do I have to walk around this flock, right? Maybe he found a, like, nice canyon. Take a picture, #NoFilter, post it to Instagram, right? Like, we don't know about this sheep. We don't know. Maybe he wanted to be lost. Maybe he got eaten. We don't know. Maybe there was a wolf that came up. But this guy is like, leaves them there, and he goes out, and he's searching at the potential that maybe he might just find the one sheep, and he doesn't even know where he lost it, but he's going to go searching for this sheep. What a reckless guy. Think about that. You have 99 great sheep, and then you leave them in the wilderness to go find the one. What a reckless man with what he was given, and yet Jesus continues on with this story. It says, but then he found it, and he joyfully carries it home on his shoulders. And when he arrives, he will call together his friends and his neighbors, saying, rejoice with me, because I have found my lost sheep. He celebrates the lost sheep to where I'm in the story. Like, if I'm listening to Jesus, I'm like, wait, time out. We're the 99 other sheep, because aren't they lost now too, technically? Right, you left them out in the wilderness. I've never celebrated a lost animal in my life, right? Have you, like, you're at a friend's house, they're throwing a party. What's the party for? It was my cat. She was gone, and she came back home, right? Like, we're just throwing this. No one's ever had a party for a lost animal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have 2 dogs, and I'm waiting on my 10-year-old Mini Dotson Penny to die because I want a German Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? And now some of you are like, that's so messed up. Listen, she's 10 years old. She's lucky I hadn't eaten her by now, because I've had a pretty rough life, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've gone through some stuff. I forget, you're online, I forget, I'm in California. Someone's like, someone call PETA. Someone call PETA. I'm not gonna lie to you, I love animals, especially in a PETA. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. It's too much. It's too much. I found this animal. It was lost, and now it is found. And we've got to celebrate what God is doing in the life of this sheep. Like, I found it, and it was amazing. There's this huge celebration that was taking place over a sheep. In verse 7, it says, now in the same way, there is more joy in heaven over one lost sinner. And when we use that word sinner, sometimes it can sound like hellfire and brimstone. It's just a person who's far from God, who doesn't have a relationship. There's more joy over people who don't have a relationship from God, who know nothing about him, who are farthest from him, who are lost. It says, there's more joy in heaven over one lost sinner who repents and returns to God over the 99 others who are righteous and haven't strayed away. And this is what threw everyone off as they're listening to this story of going, whoa, wait a minute. You're telling me God is more pleased over the one person who doesn't know him over us, the 99 who've never left his side? And Jesus says, yeah, heaven goes crazy. I mean, there's a celebration that takes place every single time someone who did not know Jesus finds Jesus and begins to follow him. There's a celebration that takes place. It says there's just a celebration going on. Angels are celebrating. It's a party every single time. And people had no idea, like, whoa, this makes no sense at all. You're telling me that God, his heart is for those who don't yet belong to him? And Jesus says, yes, he's going to stop at nothing to pursue the one. He'll stop at nothing to find the one. He'll leave 99 out in the wilderness to go after the one. And here's why today is so important, because I don't know where you're at spiritually. You're watching online. I don't know where you're at. You're up there. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what's happening in your life. You might be sitting with your spouse this morning, and you might be putting on a smile, but yet you know your hearts are far from each other. The furthest thing you feel towards each other is love. You might be here this morning and you know that this week you've got some tough decisions to make because you don't know what bills you're going to be able to pay and which ones you aren't. You're praying earnestly over your child and you don't know, but you see the path they're going down and you just go, why? I'm trying to do all the right things. You know your career is a little bit rocky. Things aren't going so well. Maybe you're a manager, maybe you just work someplace and you're struggling. Today's important because I believe that through everything, through the rain and all of this stuff, for whatever reason, especially if you're a guest here today, you said, let's go to church today. And you're here, sitting in this room right now, you're watching right now. And in this moment, I want you to know that no matter how messed up your life is, no matter how jacked up you feel like you are, no matter how warped you think you are, no matter how much people have told you you're worthless, you're nothing, you're unloved, you're invaluable, no matter what you've heard in your life, I want you to know that in this moment, nothing else matters more than God, because his love for you right now is great and it's reckless, and he made sure that you found your way here this morning. And you're sitting in these chairs, and he loves you too much to leave you where you're at. I love the verse that y'all read earlier. God so loved the world, he sent his only son, Jesus. And Jesus came into this world, lived this life, went through everything. They put him on a cross, and he bore the weight in that moment of every single sin, everything we've ever done wrong, every mess up, every failure, every mistake, every past regret. He put it onto himself, so much so that God, his heavenly Father, had to turn his back on him. And they put him in a grave, but he didn't stay there, because 3 days later he rose. And he's seated at the right hand of his Father. And this morning he's there and he says, the stuff that you're going through, I've paid for that. I've covered that. And I'm looking for you and I'm chasing you down. If you're the one, he's here for you this morning. He's here for you this morning. He's searching for you. Are you the one? And maybe you're here this morning going, yeah, I think I'm the one. I think I'm the one. I don't know, but yeah, I'm here this morning and we woke up and I know in my heart, I want to believe that God is real, but I just don't know that he is. I want to believe that God would love me. I just don't know that he does. I want to believe that God can restore my marriage. I just don't know that it can happen. I want to believe. I just don't know if I can. And God says, listen, in this moment right now, nothing else matters more than my relationship with you. And I've done everything. I've created all this so you can be here today, so I can start this relationship with you. And maybe right there where you're sitting right now in this moment, you're feeling something in your heart that maybe you've never felt before. We would call that the Holy Spirit. And says that he stands outside of our hearts and he knocks and he wants a relationship. Will you let him in? Because no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, he'll love you, and he takes you right where you're at. He meets you where you're at. You don't have to clean your life up before you meet Jesus. He starts where you are, and then he'll lead you down a journey as you begin to follow him. Maybe you're here and you're like, Daniel, I know I have a relationship with Jesus, a relationship with God, but I feel like I'm the one that's strayed away on purpose. Like I haven't been putting the effort into my faith like I should. And I know it's apparent because I look around my life and I see all the things that I've gone through and all the things that I've done. I want you to know it's so simple. As you go on and you continue on in the other parables, you'll see that that God just wants you to come home. Just come home, and maybe for you, it's to come home. But you can't do life alone. You need other people around you who will help you in this life, and that's why a church is so important. That's why this church will be so important for you. So no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, God is pursuing you recklessly, and he loves you. Let's pray. Dear Father, thank you so much for this morning. God, I don't know what you're doing in the hearts of people online. I don't know what you're doing in the hearts of people in this room. But Father, I am just filled with this overwhelming sense that you want to do something in the hearts of people. Father, I know people have walked in this morning carrying a lot of baggage. People have walked into the doors this morning, Lord, just not knowing what there's other hope, that they can find anything else in this life other than what it is. And they've been dealt a pretty rough hand, God, and they're just wondering, where are you in all of this? And yet, in this moment, they feel like maybe, just maybe, you do love them. Thank you, Father, for chasing me down. Father, thank you for saving me and changing me. So, Father, in this room right now, we pray that hearts will be drawn to you. Father, that today will set marriages down a path of restoration. That today, people will begin the next steps of learning to let go and let God. That today, people not only find Jesus, they'll begin to follow him. Just in this moment of reflection really quickly, I want you to know, because I think this is so important. I don't know where you're at spiritually, but let me just share with you. There's nothing you can do to earn your way into right favor with God. You can't pray enough. You can't come down front, and it's not about looking me in the eyes or even raising your hand. It's simply acknowledging from your heart to God that you need him. And right there in your chair this morning, if you're going, listen, I thought I had a relationship with God, but I don't, or I didn't know I could start a relationship with God, you can do that right there in your chair. If you're watching online, you can do this right now, just simply acknowledging it's not the words, but it's from your heart to God's. And maybe you just say something as simple as this: God, today, here I am. I'm broken. I need you. Please forgive me. Of my life, I've messed up. But this morning, I'm trusting you. I place my faith in you. I want to follow you. You save me. And right there in your chair, it's not about the words that you pray, but from your heart to God's. I'm telling you, for those of you that have given your heart to Jesus, there is a huge celebration taking place right now over you, and we want to celebrate with you. And maybe you're here and you're saying, Dana, I'm the one that's been straying. Today, I want you to know you can come home, no matter how messed up, no matter how bruised, no matter how damaged. Today, you can come home. Will you stand as we worship?
Shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Sing it, church. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up,